Real quick shout out. Happy birthday, Mandeep Singh. 65 today.
Oh, shit.
Huge shout out.
65 today.
65. What a guy.
What a guy. He's still screaming for the ball somewhere.
Give me the rock.
He's always open. That's the nice thing about him. He's always open. He's always open according to him.
Nicely.
He is always open. That's the thing. He is always open, though. He's just
there's a reason.
Hovering around that
They
left.
call him 7-Eleven.
Always open.
They call him Denny's.
Oh, God.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.
Welcome to District Divided, everybody. I am Amit. Joining me, Spencer and his cat. We've got LC, we've got Matt, and we have got KDOT. And we have got a great show for you guys because the Wizards have finally made a head coaching decision. They have hired Wes Unseld Jr. So we are going to break down his signing, his welcome home to the District of Columbia. We are then going to stick to basketball and talk about the NBA Finals. At the time of this recording, the Bucks are going to be playing the Suns. Will they get it done? Will Giannis Antetokounmpo finally get his ring? We're going to talk about that. Then we are going to go to the no-hate debate. It's Olympic season. So which Olympic event are you most looking forward to? Or which one do you think is the best? Give us your opinion there. And then we are going to conclude with the State of the Union, your DC Sports wraparound coverage segment. But we got to begin with the man himself. Wes Unseld Jr. is officially the head coach of the Washington Wizards. I believe it is a 4-year deal. Tommy Shepard finally made the executive decision. Ted Leonsis was there as well. We got to start with the man's agent, though. KDOT, congratulations on Wes being the head coach of the Washington Wizards. Do you want to talk to us about that process a little bit, how you were able to get him to sign on the dotted line? What happened there?
Well, I will say I want to thank you for the use of your platform, to really get that running, just in that momentum going right there at the end. We needed to kind of push us over the edge, get the contract that he really deserved and he wanted. And it's good to be home, as Wes has said. It's good to be back and be able to, bring a championship here back to DC and do what his father did, and bringing pride to this organization. And I know I speak for almost all Wizards fans of saying, bye-bye, Scotty. We've got our new guy. And once again, thank you, Amit, for allowing us to, really get the ball rolling there on that hire.
What was the kickback?
I don't like to discuss necessarily those things.
Okay.
You should realize it's rude to ask, LC. So,
I figure we'll be at a level.
How many years until that championship comes home, Kadeem?
We don't like to guarantee. I'm not going to put any words in my client's mouth.
Shit.
He's
got the record going, man.
It's just one of those things. What you are going to get with him is 100% effort. And you're going to get a guy who's going to be able to make the adjustments needed and just going to do everything he can to make this organization proud and bring a championship here to DC.
Now, is he like a soft-spoken coach, or is he more of like a get-in-your-face, pump-up kind of guy?
He's going to be whatever it is the situation dictates him to be. Everybody learns just a little bit differently, and you're not going to treat certain guys the way you treat other guys. And I know Wes is somebody that understands that. And I know Tommy had those conversations with him because there's a lot of personalities in that locker room, and just you want to find the right guy that's going to be able to mesh well with everyone there on the court, whether it be the veterans that we have, some of the wily veterans that they have here in Washington, or some of the young guys who just need a bit of leadership there to take them to that next level.
How does he feel about taking an assistant coaching job to Russell Westbrook?
Well, Russ is on board. Russ wants what everybody else wants. It's just wins, baby. It makes everything that much better.
And triple doubles.
And that's the thing is that Russ, you're getting just a top
and taking
quality
6 3-pointers a game.
Look. I really don't want to get into the X's and O's with you. I heard you're a Detroit fan, so the aspect of what it is, Russ and this entire team is just going to be happy that they've got somebody new, some fresh blood there at the coaching position, and we'll see what happens. I've got a good feeling about it. I know Tommy Shepard has a really good feeling about it, and Ted Leonsis, he's over the moon. So let's go, baby.
The thing I love about KDOT as a agent, for Wes Unseld Jr., like in the example of Matt asking about stuff like that, he wouldn't understand the X's and O's being a Pistons guy. So he knows who he's talking to. KDOT knows his audience, and that's clearly why this deal went over the line. Now, Wes Unseld Jr., known for player development, and he is also known for defensive efficiency. The Nuggets finished in the top, I want to say 6 in the last 3 seasons consecutively in defensive efficiency. So we're very much looking forward to that because there were many possessions in games where it looked like we were taking plays off on defense under Scott Brooks in his 5th year. So very excited to have Wes back home. Spencer,
How many years has it been since the Washington Wizards have been ranked in the top 6 defensively?
I couldn't even tell you. I was too depressed to look it up. So I'm just excited that we have the opportunity to see what we can do with the young core that we have, along with veterans like Russell Westbrook and like Bradley Beal. There have been reports that said that they're already developing a report, which is exactly what it's required, but it's good to see that it is happening. And so, Spencer, I want to start with you. You're a Kings guy. What is your thought from the outside looking in on the Wes Unseld Jr. hire here in DC?
I mean, I haven't actually been able to dive too much into the guy's history. He's from here. His dad played here. He's, from this area. It sounds great to me. I think everyone should be dancing, celebrating that Scott Brooks is gone and we can move on with our lives. And we all can go to a game this year and hopefully watch the Wes Unseld Jr. led Washington Wizards finally get a couple of wins and make it past the first round, maybe in his first year as head coach.
I mean, that would be amazing. Now, LC, question for you. He's been next to the great Facu Campasso, right? And he's also coached other names like Nikola. Is it Jokic? Is that Jokic. What it is? No.
It depends on the country.
Right. But it's Facu's team. We all know that.
Yeah.
So, no, jokes aside, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray. I mean, he's Michael Porter Jr. He's been around guys and developed players. You talked about it in your pitch for Jamal Mosley. What are your thoughts on Wes Unseld Jr. and what he can do with maybe some of the younger guys like Rui and, Bryant?
Yeah, definitely somebody who's focused on development and defense. Sounds like it fits exactly the puzzle of what the Wizards need, right? But I was actually really impressed, I guess is the word, by when he was being welcomed here in the Wizards. I've never seen a guy happier at a press conference. Like, he was just genuinely so happy to have this opportunity, so excited to get started. He clearly has been working for, I think, a decade, a little more, to get a head coach position in the NBA. Like, this is his shot. Like, you can just tell he wanted this so bad. And I think that kind of energy is exciting, is excellent for the Wizards. If you had asked me, when the season ended, hey, next year, same talent, same coach, what do you think the Wizards? It's like, probably not going to do much. Okay, same talent, new coach who's super excited, who's got, an opportunity, the opportunity of his life in front of him. Okay, now we're thinking of a different season. Like, maybe something can happen. Does it guarantee they're going to be better or better? No, of course not. But it gives you way more hope than if you had the exact same coach that has been doing the same thing for 5 years. So I think for me, obviously in the long term, you can think of player development. You can think of the defensive coordination and improvement. But just the energy of bringing somebody new, to me, I think that's just already of a huge change. Like, that's enough to get people who maybe were not performing to perform differently. People who are not believing on the team to maybe believe we can do something this year. So that to me is enough to say this is going to be better.
And sometimes you just need a clean slate as a player, and everyone's now got that clean slate. Wes Unseld Jr., just a little more background on him. He started off with the Washington Wizards in 98, and he was with the team for like 11, 12 years. He then went to the Golden State Warriors for a season, so he got the opportunity to at least be with Clay and Steph for a year. I'm not crediting him with anything there. Who knows? But then he also spent time in Orlando, and he got to spend time with like Tobias Harris and some others. And then he went to Denver, and he spent, I think, 5-6 years over there. So he's definitely paid his dues.
Yeah.
2 decades.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he actually, fun fact, even spent some time with the Mystics as an assistant coach. So he knows the area, and he knows, just how basketball is in the city and how much people care about it. So it's very exciting to have him here. Now, Matt, I know you were incredibly bummed not to have Duncan Darvin Ham as the guy chosen after you gave such a terrific pitch not too long ago. What are your thoughts on the Wes Unseld Jr. hire here?
I think the biggest day was definitely when the upper management made the decision to move away from Scott Brooks. Not that I think Scott Brooks is the worst coach in the league, but he clearly has a ceiling. He's not going to take a team, he's had championship caliber teams before and just never taken it there. So this is a team, given the roster, they really don't have any other choice but to kind of go for it. So they made that decision. He's been an assistant for 24 years, knows the area well, seems like a great hire, has a great agent. So I think that's a good choice. We'll kind of go and see. I think there are many issues with the roster still, and I think there's a ceiling with this team, but definitely a little bit more excitement than if they still had Scott Brooks.
Yeah. No, I think this was definitely a hire for almost just the community, the basketball community, because it is a familiar face. Wes Unseld brings nothing but amazing memories for a lot of people. And for the younger guys that never really I never saw him, but he is a part of Bullets and Wizards folklore. So it is nice to see that his son, who has spent so much time with the organization, is now here. The one actually interesting thing that popped up, and Chris Miller deleted this tweet almost immediately, was one of the writers and broadcasters for NBC Sports Washington. He tweeted he wasn't the first choice, but he ended up being the right choice. And so I'm curious as to what maybe Chris knew and what sort of the thought process was and how the process went. They kept citing the process. I would have loved to have known more about that. They never really talk about it. They just say the process. But that was
Matt's
sort of
pitch on District Divided for his coaching pick, and they decided that it wasn't the right move.
I mean,
Duncan Darvin Ham.
Maybe Duncan Darvin Ham was one of the top options, because that was tweeted out by Woj. And next thing you know, it looks like we're waiting for the finals to end. And then Wes Unseld Jr. comes on board. The one sort of fear I have is maybe there was some nepotism involved, but when you look at his body of work, you can quickly rule that out, because 24
years as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
That's more could you be?
That's what I'm saying. That's more for people that think that would be some sort of nepotism. He's definitely paid his dues.
That's a grinding coaching career.
Yeah, I don't know what more you want him to do. It'd be different if he were around for like 3 years.
He also made it out of the most problematic era in Wizards history. Like he made it unscathed, which counts for something, like I've been saying, right? But I mean, the thing is that, like LC said, you have this. The Wizards can't do a whole lot with the roster. Like there's not a whole lot of options, and if you're looking at, all right, this team has offense. We need defense. We need development. Who's the guy that's known for both? Worth a shot. Like it's just, and it also is a feel good story. So like it's the right move. Like it just makes sense, because they can't go and get a superstar. Russ isn't getting really traded for anybody. Beal can get traded, but then you're worse off than you're worse. So like, what do you want to do? So if you're gonna try to make this run, it's the only thing you can change. The only variable you can change.
Yeah, I'm personally very excited for the hire. He's going to have a longer leash because of who he is and because of the amount of time he spent in the organization. I think that favors Ted Leonsis and how he likes to run his basketball operations. I personally have no problem with it. I think it does take time to become good, and I'm glad Wes is going to get the opportunity he deserves. But now let's talk about teams that we aspire to be in the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. Game 6 is at the time of this recording in Milwaukee, and the question is simple. By the time you are watching this video, are the Milwaukee Bucks champions of the NBA, or does Chris Paul overcome referee Scott Foster, get a dub, and force a Game 7? Matt, I'm going to start with you this time.
No. There is a unstoppable force, and that is Scott Foster, the guy who is somehow still reffing in the NBA today, unscathed by the Tim Donaghy incident. But I definitely am pulling for the Bucks. I think, I like Giannis a lot. He deserves it. And I'm pumped for them. I do have some questions for the pod, because we've made some disparaging marks against certain members that are still involved in the finals. So I want to hear what people's predictions are, and then I'll ask a few questions to the team.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued by
Shit,
that.
he brought questions.
He brought questions. Proud of you, buddy. All right. Well, LC, what are your thoughts?
Okay, we'll talk about it, Matt, but I think that only one of us have predicted something else than Suns on 6. So I think 4 out of the 5 are wrong. So clearly something happened. I do think that, something changed in Game 3 that just, it's like they became a completely different team, the Suns.
Giannis changed.
Well, but I mean,
I think Middleton and Drew changed.
Yeah, I think Chris Middleton changed.
Yeah,
those two were terrible. Giannis was still doing his thing in Games 1 and 2.
You got to look at interior offense. Giannis attacked the basket. That's all that changed. Kadeen, back me up here.
Kadeen,
that's literally, I've been screaming. I haven't screamed. I've talked about him in this pod because I was backing Spencer up, but I've talked about him on my other pod every episode for like a year now, maybe 2 years at this point. If you look throughout these series, Giannis has shot 12 threes. He's got it that low. As long as he stops doing that and plays interior in the paint offense, he's unstoppable. He's unstoppable. And you can see he's learning new moves and getting comfortable with the new moves in the paint. You can't do anything. Then they figured out, and this is where, look, I've disparaged against Coach Bud numerous times, but I'll give him credit here. Between him and Giannis realizing we need to attack Ayton, get him in foul trouble, and he will not play the same, that is the key. Giannis, if you have him with the ball in the paint, he can dish out to their shooters who deserve to shoot, unlike Giannis, or do just something in the paint. It's just, he is the most dominant interior force since Shaquille O'Neal. If he plays this way, it's unstoppable. I went into these finals thinking that there was no chance because it looked so clear, the blueprint, and they just wouldn't do it. I just didn't think there was any chance they would. There should be no reason Milwaukee doesn't close this out tonight if they play with that formula. And look, Chris Paul has helped them out a ton as far as just kind of disappearing right now. I mean, I can't say it. I feel too bad for him. It's just, dude, if Giannis plays the way he's playing right now and allow these shooters to cook, you can't – I don't know anybody – I think we are now transitioning to next year. It's Giannis's league. And I think we're here. I think we're at this point where it is now Giannis's league. Like, is he the best? I still think KD is probably the best basketball player on the planet right now, but he's getting older, and LeBron's getting hurt more, and AD's just built a fucking toothpicks. Like, it's Giannis. It's Giannis. If he gets the championship, so this is now the era of Giannis.
Damn. Okay. Well, I'm interested to debate that, and let's debate it in just a sec. But I know Matt came prepared. He has some questions. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I have two, and you kind of hit on that, Kadeen. It's that we have talked about Coach Bud a lot. We've been quick to rag on him. That was the reason why we rolled out two candidates, is because they were just affiliated with Coach Bud.
Yep.
But in reality, you've got a guy who's about to win a championship, and that talks about, they closed out a series against the Hawks where Giannis was hurt and Trae Young had his injuries, and they've, the Nets had their injury. Yes, they've had some luck, but they still got it there without, their 1A star, and you would say their 2 and 3 options are both good players, but either streaky or really not. They're not, elite caliber second tier players, right? They are, they're not that 1B. They're the second and third option, right? So does Coach Bud get any credit for this run? Does he get any credit for getting there? And where's we've talked about legacy, what it's done for Giannis, Chris Paul's. What's this doing for Coach Bud's legacy?
It is, look, you got to give Bud credit. You have to. And it hurts me to do it because I've said so many bad things about the man, right? But I'll be the first in line to say it wasn't over. I'm not giving him that much credit over the course of this entire playoffs. Atlanta wasn't a great team. Who it is they've had to face against, they should have cakewalked basically to the championship with the talent that they have on that team. The fact that they struggled up until this point, right now in the finals, is where he is making it happen. He's made adjustments, and once again, it just goes back to how Giannis is playing for me. This style of play from Giannis and letting him do this, somebody had to have been in his ear, because it's a fundamental shift in the way we've seen him play across this entire playoffs. It's just different now, and I'm going to give him credit for it, but it's not going to change my opinion in the grand scheme of like, oh my God, look at how many adjustments he made over the course of the playoffs. I still think Monty Williams did a better job adjusting over the course of the playoffs. Bud's finally doing what he's supposed to do. I remember my parents used to tell me when I got an A, you want credit for doing what you're supposed to do? Like, it's literally just do what you're supposed to be doing. It was that clear to see, and he's just doing it. So
I totally agree. And I think the one thing I will say is, I mean, I'm no professional basketball player. I'm no professional basketball coach, but it seriously is the simplest of adjustments, right? I mean, like, it's not like they're a team that is trying to overperform and he's making all of these big moves and he's really messing with the late game strategy. He's looking at advanced sabermetrics. It's pretty simple. You have a 7-foot guy that moves like a point guard, stand in the paint or attack the paint at all costs, and you feed him the ball and he dunks it until they stop him, and then you kick it out. It is basketball 101. And I don't know why they weren't doing this in the beginning. There were series ago where I think everyone besides maybe Kadeen was saying, and myself, that were like, oh, the Bucks are done. The Bucks are done. It's like, no. All they have to do is give Giannis the rock, and they're going to win. And sure enough, they did it. I still say that they win tonight. I don't think that Giannis will be denied. He's got that fire in his eye, and I think it's too much for the Suns to overcome.
I'm going to go against the grain because I've found in watching some of our previous episodes that we ride momentum and then we're just dead wrong. So I'm going with the Suns because everyone here is picking the Bucks. So I got the Suns winning, and then I have them winning game 7. I'm rooting for the Bucks, but I think the Suns will end up winning this thing. I think they still have a little more of that bubble Suns energy from last season, and I think they can turn it on. I really do. I think Devin Booker's going to go off.
Dollar bet.
Yeah, got to do it.
But the problem is
Dollar
Devin
bet.
Booker has been going off.
He's going to Oh, no. I'm talking 50 plus. I think he's going to
but didn't he have 40 last game? He had 42 last
more.
game?
10 more, they win. I
don't think he's good for that.
It's got to be 10 more and no, like taking no points from anyone else, by the way.
Well, because, CP3 is
Definitely
essentially wiped, right? I mean, Scott Foster's on the deck. They're not even going to play CP3 at this point.
They can't afford to.
Also, for any viewer out there that doesn't know, Scott Foster has reffed 15 total of Chris Paul's games, and Chris Paul has lost 11 in a row this is playoff games. 11 in a row playoff games when Scott Foster is the head.
Do you think that's on purpose? Do you think Scott Foster sees CP3 and is like, see you later, bud?
Yeah.
I think there's been he's made like comments before like he hopes he loses or something like that. I don't know.
Foster should not be an NBA referee anymore. He shouldn't be a ref.
Does he
not
really?
okay.
No way.
It's not. It's not been I hope you lose, but it's
hope he loses.
It's like. All right. I mean, that was bad, but I swear he's incredibly tied in with Tim Donaghy. It is sketchy. I don't know. Yeah, it's not as bad as what I said. But it's
no, of course. Did you go ahead?
No, go ahead. Well, I got Suns winning tonight. Now, the only reason I have the Suns winning tonight is that it just seems too easily scripted. The Bucks should just win this thing. I just feel like maybe they just have a game where Bud has amnesia for a second. Like maybe
you can't fully give the guy credit.
I can't. I literally can't.
Giannis, start jacking threes. Start jacking threes, Giannis.
Look, he's gonna start the game with like 8 threes in a row, and I'm like, yep, that's exactly.
But I wonder if the injury sort of made him say, "Let me just go back to basics." Right? Like when you're not 100%, you do what you know how to do. You don't try new things, right? Like you're just okay. I know how to do this. Let me just do this. And so I know that we're giving the credit to the coach that Kadeen's not happy about, but there may also be a little bit of Giannis saying like, look, I know what I have to do and I'm not 100%, or at least I'm testing it. I'm going to go to just my basics, which is be in the paint, dunk on people, and pass it if I get double teamed. So like there may be a little bit of that. I also wanted to ask on your opinions quickly on so Kadeen said this is Giannis's league now, or like it's becoming it. Do you think like LeBron clearly rooting for CP3 is also a little bit of like, I don't want to give up the league. Like I don't want to give up the, this is my league still. So like if Giannis wins, it's like a little bit like, okay, I'm passing.
I do think there's a small part of it, certainly. I also wanted to say, LC, I think that's an excellent point about, maybe the injured mentality of, okay, let me go back to what he is very comfortable with, what he's good at, things like that. And it also helps players that overthink just go, okay, let me go back to what I know. And Giannis all of a sudden he's playing amazing. But yeah, I do think with LeBron, there probably is a little bit of that. Like he's definitely, CP3 is his boy. Like he's definitely, that's most of it. 95% of it, but I think there probably is 5-10% that's like, oh, I'm not ready to give this up just yet, because I do think K-Dot's right. If Milwaukee wins, how could it not be Giannis's league with that team? Like this is going to be one of the most impressive, despite the luck that they've had. I mean, the Nets were missing some people. Trae Young rolls his ankle by stepping on a referee. There has been some luck, certainly, but to me, they're never asterisks when it comes to championships. You still had to earn it, and this would be Giannis's league to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. When it comes to championships, they don't ask how, they ask how many. But I would not say this has been one of the most impressive championship runs.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is that when you look at the other teams that have won, they're typically stacked, right? I wouldn't say that the Milwaukee Bucks are stacked
True.
to the same level
I
as
agree with
these
that.
other guys. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I think this season, like I said, this season has an asterisk. Last season has an asterisk.
Whoa.
This season, it's just what it is. This season was a war of attrition more than any other thing. And I think with Giannis's frame and how dominant a player he is, even when hurt, he can do things that
That's
other
not an
guys can't do.
asterisk. That's not an asterisk.
The asterisk to me is you had the short turnaround with this season. You have more injuries than you've ever had in the history of the NBA going into these playoffs and throughout these playoffs. You have entire series coming down to where you at the end of it, there are no stars left. You see what Brooklyn did was basically have James Harden basically on fucking crutches out there on the court next to KD. And then by the end of it, KD looked like he wanted to fall off the side of a building. Like it's just...
Well, and also there were two other teams too that like were severely underperformed, right? And that we know that are going to be good next year, and that is the Lakers. They are going to be good, and that is the Warriors. They are going to be good.
Had to be a Warriors
Just to make
shout
the
out there.
playoffs.
It's true, though.
Let's
No.
go on the
Hold
Warriors.
on. The Warriors, they are an elite team that will absolutely be in the top 3 next season, if not win it all.
But wait, hold on. Can you clear this up for us real quick? Are you a Kings fan or Warriors fan? Which one more? Because I feel like I hear a lot of Warriors talk.
You
from
can't
Kevin.
talk trash with the
Very, very-
Kings.
I think he's got a hierarchy.
Yeah, you
like
can.
Kings, then it's like California.
Sure, you got to hear in
then it's
Fox.
like
I
everything.
talked-
25
dude, they
MVP
talk trash
people
with the
understand that
Wizards.
at some point. Yeah, all the time.
You can't trash as a Kings fan. You just can't.
You can. Chris Webber, C. Webb. Dude, yeah, Jay Williams.
This is the beat rabbit in your heart, Matt, where you think it's the underdog that can come up.
We've got more
Anyway.
faith from Matt, Michigan man himself, because of the C-Web connection from 20 plus years ago than Spencer over there with the current Sacramento Kings.
I did love that Sacramento team, man. Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber,
Mike Bibby.
Oh
Squad.
god, that team was legit.
Okay. Well, anyway, we do need to
Doug
move
Christie,
on.
wasn't that Christie?
So real quick,
Yeah.
let's go around. Game 6 predictions. I know we've all said it. I just want it in one quick segment. Spencer, beginning with you. You think the Bucks have it? Is that correct?
Bucks have it. Warriors top $3.
Okay.
I
Vegas odds? Vegas odds next season, top 3.
What do you mean?
So most likely to win the NBA championship for 2021-2022 are the Golden State Warriors top 3 according to Bovada.
No.
I'm saying no.
No, I'm saying. So you're gonna say
I know, but
So
he doesn't
Dark
know
Bet.
we're about to go like a whole year.
Dude, you have the Wizards not being a top 6 team for the next 3 years.
I know, but I made it, but it's not ideal. I admit it was a bad dollar.
We're gonna find out in like 2 weeks. You know they put those odds out like immediately.
Yeah.
after the- Right.
I will say that I think that's a better bet, and they will not be in the top 3.
They will not be in the top 3. Spencer, would you like $1 on that?
top 3. I'm saying top 3 West, right? Not top,
Top
3
three
total.
overall.
No.
I
That's
said
not what
top
that's not what you
3
said.
in the West.
It
You know what?
might be
Fuck it,
top 3.
I'll still take it. That's fine.
I
think you'll end up winning, Spencer, but I don't care.
Clippers.
At this
Suns.
point,
No,
I don't
I think they'll be. No, I don't think they'll be top 3 in the West.
Yeah.
Lakers, Clippers, Suns.
Well, the
Okay,
Nuggets will fall
dollar for Matt.
tremendously. Wes Unseld Jr. is not there.
Dollar
anymore.
for Amit.
Yeah.
And
Anyone
Nuggets
else?
too. Jazz.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Jazz.
got $1.
All right. LC, Bucks or Suns tonight?
I'm gonna go with Suns because I want the drama.
Oh, I like it. Although now I'm beginning to hate my pick. Matt, go ahead.
Bucks. I got Bucks. I got Giannis going for 40.
Okay,
40 and 16.
I thought you were going to go like 40 and 7. 40 and 16. Sounds good. K. Dot. Suns?
Give me Suns. Giannis shoots 6 3-pointers. It's a guaranteed loss. Coach Bud gets amnesia.
Now, the whole point of picking the Suns was because I thought you all picked the Bucks, but I got to stick with it. I got $1 bet on it. I'm going Suns. Booker is going to go for 50 tonight. He's going to get it done for the Phoenix Suns. Well, at the time of this recording, this shit's going to be in game 7 by the time you're watching this.
What happens if Chris Paul just like knocks out Scott
Foster?
Scott Foster.
It's
Like
not
if
a
he
bad
just says
idea.
like
Game
I'm
on.
not playing well in this series anyway and just knocks him out. Do they
I
post
said I wanted the drama. I'm down for that.
Like
Do you
Sure.
think- oh, man. So many.
and if the
CP3s.
Suns go on to win a championship after Chris Paul knocks out Scott Foster, is he looked upon as a champion?
Yeah.
Like,
Suns and 4 energy.
Absolutely.
Suns and 4 energy.
Absolutely.
No asterisks.
Chris,
No
I hope
asterisks.
I hope you can hear me through space. Do this, please.
Let's move on to something that involves honor, involves integrity, not punching Scott Foster in the face. And let's talk about the Olympics, or what they're supposed to represent. Matt seemed to be like, you know what, I'm not sure about that. But the Olympics officially, actually technically start today. Team USA, the women's soccer team, will be playing and will have already played by the time this is released. And volleyball, I believe, begins as well. So it's already beginning, but the opening ceremony is this Friday, July 23rd. Very much looking forward to it. So this is the No Hate Debate. Which Olympic event are you looking forward to the most? LC, I want to begin with you.
Well, first of all, I'm so excited for the Olympics in general. Like, they're my favorite sporting event with the Soccer World Cup. We'll talk a little bit probably about doing this in 2021, meaning like still a pandemic. I think that's obviously putting a gray mat on everything. But as a sporting event, I absolutely love the Olympics. Like, I hate that they're in Japan just because of the fact that I can't watch them because they're happening while I'm sleeping. Kind of want to switch my schedule and just be a night owl and watch the whole thing. But for me, the sport that I really like to watch in the Olympics is handball, which is a sport I used to play as a teenager in school, and you never ever get to watch it anywhere else. It's way more physical and way more aggressive than you may think. So if you want to catch a game, or I probably can't catch one live because it'll probably be at 2 a.m, but if you want to catch a recap of a game, they'll be really interesting. The game is 7 players, 6 in the keeper. And think about it as the field is like, I was just looking it up. It's smaller than a hockey rink, but it's bigger than a basketball court. So somewhere in between that. And it's kind of like soccer, but using your hands, and the ball is obviously smaller, so it fits in someone's hand. So super dynamic, super fast, really aggressive, a lot of scoring. Like the games are like 25-22 or something like that. So it's really fun.
I was going to say, how often do saves happen? Because I've seen some handball, and it looks impossible to play goalkeeper.
Being the goalkeeper is the hardest thing in the freaking world, because people can jump into the box to throw the ball 3 feet away from you, and they'll also bounce the ball on the ground, which fucks with your like spatial awareness, because you have to calculate where the ball will bounce in. So being the keeper sucks. It's the worst job that you can have in that field. But it's kind of like hockey keepers. They're different kind of people. Like that, you got to be a crazy person to do it. Eventually, every team finds a crazy person or two for a sub. And if you're really losing, the keeper will come out and they'll play 7v6. So kind of like hockey as well.
Oh, I dig that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got handball. Spencer, what about you?
I think the thing that I'm most interested in watching is going to be gymnastics, actually, just with all the fallout that's occurred, and with Simone Biles just being such a dominant force. Even a storyline of that they do this kind of like exhibition where a bunch of the top gymnasts go around, and it's always been put on by U.S. Gymnastics, and they didn't pay their athletes, and Simone Biles just skipped them and did where like all of the athletes that were with her were paid. Just a really interesting storyline. Also, it's going to be on now Peacock. It's like not on television. It's going to be streaming. They're doing some really wonky stuff with that, so it might be tougher to watch, but I think that storyline is incredible. And then Katie Ledecky, I mean, is just so dominant. I think that she has more. Does she have more total medals than Michael Phelps, or she's won more events than him? But she's 24 years old and going for more. I mean, she has a couple more Olympics after this. And she's from the area. Yeah. I think it's just incredible. So, and then I'll watch women's soccer for sure. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, there actually is something very special about women's soccer. Specifically, men's soccer is U23 typically for the Olympics, but the women's soccer in the Olympics is epic. Like, it always is really, really good. Just has the same feel, if not even more important than the World Cup sometimes. It's really, really neat. Matt, what about you?
So what I like about the Olympics definitely is that you can finally watch sports that you don't really watch. So, I mean, I'm not really going to be that tuned into basketball, even though it actually might be good this year. Even soccer, I'm probably not going to watch. But I still think that the best, 10 seconds in sport, men's 100-meter dash, best event that there is, fastest person on the earth. I think it is a little sketchy that the number 1 world-ranked sprinter is Justin Gatlin, who's still sprinting at 40, a couple steroid positive tests, right? Throughout his career, and no one's raising any alarms. Like, he's 40, still the fastest guy in the world.
Scott Foster, Justin Gatlin, whatever.
But I don't know. I guess he's been clean for a while. So props to Justin Gatlin. Hopefully he gets gold for USA. But thought that was a little weird that a 40-year-old guy is the fastest guy in the world. That seemed weird to me. But good for him. Maybe he's a vegan. So Other than that, I'll probably tune into swimming. I don't know. Just it's kind of the random events you just turn on like, oh, I guess I'll be a USA canoeing fan today.
Yeah.
Go for that. So, but I would say 100-meter dash. I think it's best 10 seconds in sports.
It's electric. Absolutely electric. 100-meter dash. K-Dot, what you got for us?
I mean, the Summer Olympics is always something where it's like going into it, I'm not usually excited about any one thing as much as seeing the storylines kind of develop as they go. And then it's like, all right, this person is chasing a certain record and you tune in for that. I always say that like Winter Olympics has sports that I feel like I'm more amped about watching. And I end up watching the Summer Olympics like 10 times as much as I'd ever watched the Winter Olympics, right? So, I mean, there's always the standard stuff like seeing Simone Biles dominate. I really want to see that. Kate Ledecky, great choice. Beach volleyball is always something that's really big for me, and I am really excited to see Alex Kleinman and April Ross perform, because this is the first time in a while that we haven't had a Kerry Walsh Jennings or Misty May trainer in beach volleyball, and I think that's going to be really, really interesting. But if I'm looking at anything, I really want some of the new sports, which I'm kind of excited about, like surfing, skateboarding, the 3-on-3 basketball, which the USA men's did not qualify for, which is just hilarious to me, and also a precursor to why the men's team is not going to win gold this year. But I don't know, some of the new sports are kind of cool. Karate, skateboarding, surfing. Like, I'm going to be really interested to see just some of the new things.
Rock climbing.
I was saving that one for last. This speed rock climbing stuff that they're doing right now, which is like their timing used, how far. That is going to be some fun to watch. It's just the spectacle of it. I just want to see if any of these stick. I'm really interested just to see how that's going to work. So it's going to be a lot of me up at 2 a.m. on the Peacock app trying to figure shit out.
Sounds like the 100-meter dash by vertical. Like that sounds pretty fun.
100-meter dash, I'm always a little like I'm conflicted because I am half Jamaican. And, well, I mean, it's kind of cool being half Jamaican, half American. So you just get, at the Olympics,
you can celebrate no matter what.
Brag regardless, right? But, yeah, so that's why 100-meter dash. I don't really hype it up that much because I'm just rooting for the Jamaican and the American that's going to win this thing. So, and then I'll say that I was rocking with them the entire way through.
Well, okay. No, I like it. There are a number of new events, and like you said, skateboarding, surfing, the climbing. So the climbing was one I had chosen as sort of like the new sport I'm very excited to see. And the one I'm going to pick, I know none of the names in it, but like everyone has been saying, you like to see the sports that are rarely on television. Table tennis. Give it to me. I want to see. Typically, I feel like the Chinese just dominate it. I feel like they've always been getting these gold medals in it. Keep it going. I don't care. It is amazing when the rallies get going and they're all warm and loose. Like the first few points, I want to say like 3 or 4 short rallies, and then it really gets going. And I'm just so captivated by it. I love watching table tennis. It is so cool.
What I like about that pick too is that like most of us have played a little bit of table tennis. Like at some point, somebody had a table and you played, and like you watch these guys play and you're like, holy shit, I could never do that. Like
it's impossible.
With soccer, sometimes it's a little bit like you don't understand how good they are on TV because everyone's at that, like it's a little bit harder to understand how different that is from like the amateur level. But in ping pong, you see it and you're like, no, that's a different sport than what I did with my friends in their fucking basement.
Right. No,
I just think of Forrest Gump every time that it happens. And I look back and now I'm overthinking Forrest Gump and how it's not a good movie. But God damn it, I hate it.
Still the hot take. Maybe of the
that's
of the,
not a no debate.
It's a movie I watch a lot, but it's not a good movie.
I might support Kadeem in this take.
Not a Forrest Gump guy.
No, you can watch it. Like, I'll watch it. If it's on, I'm going to watch, right? But I'm, like, poking holes the entire thing. And the dumbest moment maybe in the history of film, when the dude gives him the T-shirt with the mud and he wipes it and there's the perfect happy face on it, and that's how he came with the bump.
That's hysterically funny.
No, it's not.
That is so funny. Have a nice day. That's great.
Oh, God. And then Jenny, the most problematic, traumatic. Just go get a therapist.
Oh, I know. Okay, let's not revisionist history.
I'm now excited as to why it's not a good movie.
What are you doing?
I've got a dark horse event for you all. 17-year-old Casey Kaufhold from Lancaster, Pennsylvania will be the #1 female American archer. It is heart-pumping. It is insane. It is so entertaining, and it is a slow burn that gets nutty at the end.
Hype for archery.
Also,
boys, just realizing this, there is tremendous dollar bet potential for get-togethers with these events. I mean, archery for sure. You just look in their eye, you go, nope, they don't have it. Dollar right then and there. You can do that with ease. Table tennis, just pick the person that wins the rally. There are so many dollar bets that are going to happen, and I'm very, very excited for that. I'd totally forgotten about archery. Thank you, Spencer. I'm very, very excited for archery. That's going to be, yeah. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome.
Legolas is actually the main archer to look out for in the event, so look out.
Is he still going?
Have any of you any archery?
No.
Wait, LC actually. Wait,
I did. That's why I'm
right.
asking.
LC was very good at archery.
Is
Yes,
this
he was.
true?
No, this
As
is
a
true.
kid,
LC,
yeah.
please elaborate.
When I was 15, I was Argentina's national champion, junior national champion.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
15
What happened?
meters.
What happened?
I pursued other passions.
He got bored.
You're doing a freaking podcast now. You could have been a freaking.
I don't know if that's a better choice. But yeah, I just like, I mean, I did kind of get bored. In retrospect, I think it was a little bit of, now I have to go into the adult category. And like, I think that kind of intimidated me, to be honest, because like I won the junior category, which is 16 and under. And looking back, I think there was a little bit of that.
I mean, that's incredible, though.
That is
Yeah,
Absolutely
it was
incredible. Junior national champion.
Do you still have a bow?
No. I eventually, I guess, sold it.
He has it hung up.
They're expensive. They're pretty expensive. I used to shoot nothing like what you see in the Olympics is, I think they shoot something like 60 or 70 meters away. Think like 60 or 70 yards away. I used to shoot way closer. I used to do indoor, so it was like 15 meters to 18 meters.
I mean, that's
But
still
Gotcha.
that's still a decent
is 60 to 70 meters, is that closer for the 60 or 70 yards?
we're not going into that again. I was trying to Americanize the measure. Also, because I have no idea.
I'm real mean with a crossbow. Like, crossbow is my shit. But
never done
I
that.
used to go bow fishing.
Well, we should hand over the crossbow to the junior champion of Argentina sometime and just let the magic happen. That's
scared
incredible.
to see what you can do with it, man.
Not much. It's like you have to have every right condition for you to hit the center. Like the distance has to be exact, and it's
like-
not as cool as it sounds.
So could you have been an
Archery-
Olympian if you had just continued and let's say like no, you couldn't have broken through?
because there's like I said, the one that do at the Olympics is a completely different event. Like it's much further, different bows. I would need years more of continuing with.
Yeah,
with
but
that.
but at the
you were
same
the
time,
junior- you were the
you know how
junior
many
champ.
you know how many
I don't think-
not junior champions you would have been going against.
But I don't think you
Betas?
understand like the difference between like the U.S. one of the worst U.S. qualifying like archers and some of the top Argentinians. Like the difference is so big. Like for you to be an Argentinian and qualify for archery is absolutely extraordinary. Like it just doesn't
So is Argentina, are they known for their archery?
no, that's what I mean.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
So who are the
Like
best archers?
reaching the top of Argentina would not guarantee a spot.
Would still
in, like,
not
the Olympics.
necessarily. So what is that's actually a good point, and I haven't thought about it too much. When you're qualifying, and then we'll move on to the stadium. But when you're qualifying for an event, is it you're the top X number within your country, or is there?
I can
a
answer this
certain-
question.
Spencer,
Let's
please
go,
do.
Spence.
I think the number one country for women is Korea. And they're very, very
That was
good.
not
But
the
the
question.
second question is that was to Matt's question earlier.
I
The
just
second
wanna
question,
let my
You
knowledge on
responded
it.
3 minutes later with, "I can answer that."
I've never heard
believe
anyone. I can answer that question.
everybody goes and shoots 70 arrows before the round, and then you get seated.
Is that right?
Did
Also,
he answer
not
the question?
No, but I think
not the
I think-
question.
The question
The
was,
question is,
how do you qualify?
How do you qualify?
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it
you
was
were
how
talking
many
about
people from
the
each country
ranking.
qualify.
Yeah,
Right,
like
so
when you're
my
competing, how
question
many
was,
people are you
So do they
competing
get
against?
them together somewhere? And they're like, "Hey,
The
this
actual
is-"
Olympic qualifiers? You just,
Yeah,
you
that's
have
the
to win the Olympic qualifier like any other event in the Olympics, dummies.
Okay, so
I think each sport does it
I
different.
refuse to be
Sport
made
does
to
it
be the
different.
idiot in this situation.
okay, no.
But like, how do divers do it? You go and you qualify. How do runners do it? You go
I
and you
feel like
qualify.
that was
Right.
not the question was asked. It was not the question was asked. I'm not going crazy.
But it
No,
may
it was not the question
honestly-
asked. It was
Not
not
at
the
all the
question asked.
question. So
And it
here-
certainly did not warrant the response of, I can answer this question.
for women, it's Korea. No. Here's what I wanted to know. So surely there's qualifying within, let's start easy, like it's in your district, then county, then
Sure.
city, whatever, up until the national level, right? So let's say the top 3 in Argentina qualify. They're not qualifying for the Olympics, Spencer. They're actually qualifying to probably go somewhere where to the Olympic qualifier, where many other Olympian hopefuls go. And then the top 70 or whatever it may be go from there. Is that correct? Does that question make sense?
I would expect it to be something like that, but I don't know.
I mean, I think that whoever has a qualifying a team that comes, you have to win your country's qualifier, and then you represent your country. So Casey Kaufhold was one of 2 women that came from America. So she won her qualifier in the United States.
So if Elsie won the Argentine qualifier, does he go to the Olympics without that is the Olympic qualifier, or is
no? Because otherwise you would have 1 per country, and obviously you don't have 1 per country.
Right.
So at some point it may be kind of like soccer, where like by conferences or like sort of it's almost like continents.
You have CONMEBOL.
Yeah, like you have a
archers.
quota.
Yeah, okay.
You may have a quota of like the top 8 in South America qualify, or and you may need to do something like that.
Well, but isn't it like
Latin archers
in swimming and in track and field too? Isn't it that like the top go, and then there's also like an international baseline, right? Because like you'll have a swimmer that will come in third.
Let's not listen to Spencer on this.
But you'll have a swimmer that will come in third, and then they still reach that baseline to qualify, and based on the other they enter in as a wild card, right? That's how most of these sports work. Outside of team sports, these individual sports.
I think you're right. All right. On that note, let's move on to the State of the Union.
Yeah, I will say crossbow archery, underrated murder weapon.
A crossbow? How is it underrated?
It should be used more. It's not the same ballistics testing that you get on a gun. I'm just saying.
This is incredible.
I was underrated. Something that's clearly meant to kill something.
I literally just said, let's move on. And you couldn't help yourself and just said, by the way, underrated murder weapon.
All of the explaining about Olympic qualifying for archery, my thoughts went somewhere.
Oh, that would be a great no-hate debate. What is the best, like, in-home... We'll say this for next week. We'll tempt the fans. Next week, what is the best in-home defense weapon that's not a gun?
That's not a gun. Okay, great. So besides talking about the NBA,
that would be a fun debate.
We'll
do it next week.
Also talk about the best in-home defense weapon that is not a gun. All right.
Crossbow.
Okay, final thing. I actually looked it up.
Next week.
The main qualification tournament is the World Archery Championships the year prior to the Olympic Games. Oh. Each country's team who places in the top 8 in the men's and women's recurve team rounds at the World Championships will qualify a full team.
See, already there you lost me, because they shoot recurve bows. I used to shoot compound bows, which are a completely different type of bow. So I'm already not in that.
Kadeen wants to know which can kill faster.
I'm familiar with compound bows. Thank you very much.
Bow.
We used to shoot Lumineer darts. So they streak across and like glow in the dark, and we would catch them in slow-mo videos and stuff.
Well, I was just thinking, like, I put time codes on these videos and stuff like that. So it'll be like, Amit asks a question, and 10 minutes later, Spencer answers Amit's question. We finally figured it out.
It was 30 seconds later.
He said he could answer the question.
In Kadeen's list of underrated weapons, guns, bazookas.
Okay. We
bazookas.
do.
No,
guys,
they track those purchases.
We do need a wrap up. This is the State of the Union, your DC Sports wraparound coverage segment. That was the no-hate debate on the Olympics. But we are going to begin, as we always do, with LC and an Old Glory update. LC, the floor is yours.
They won again in their last game of the season, which I was kind of having a little bit of a laugh with all the Instagram posts saying like the Old Glory finished the season with a streak, which is a streak of 2 games. Just like, okay, you guys are pushing it. I mean, yes, technically, but okay, it was still like 7th position. So, a season to grow from, but a great win. The game was really exciting. It was a close game. It ended up 29-25. And in the very, very final play, the other team had just a breakaway. They were going to score a game-winning try. And Robertson, which is one of the fly half, I think, for the OG, just tackled the guy, got him out of bounds, wins the game right there. They actually got into a bit of a fight right afterwards. So super exciting game to close the season. Apparently this game for some reason was called I gotta look this up. It was called the Cuisine Solutions Cup, which I think is just a sponsor who paid for something to be called a cup. So good for them. So the OG win the Cuisine Solutions Cup.
So we won the cup.
We won the cup.
We won the cup
for the second year in a row.
Oh.
So amazing. But yeah, so the regular season is over. There are playoffs that start this weekend. The first game is Saturday at 8 p.m. The second game is Sunday at 5 p.m. And you actually can watch all of these games for free, which I did not know. You can watch them at the Rugby Network, which is just online. You can watch them on any device. And all you got to do is register for free and you're in.
Matt, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Do you guys have the Rugby Network?
Rugby Network, yep.
I got
that
it.
included in your guys' cable package?
No, that's the thing. It's not
online.
like a cable package thing. It's you register online and you watch it on like your PC or your Mac or whatever, like a computer mostly. You can watch it on a phone, but it's a small screen.
Yeah.
We didn't really follow through on us becoming an Old Glory pod.
Oh, how do you mean? Like we were going to get an interview or something like that, or what are you talking about?
We didn't really commit to the bit. We give an update every week.
We do give.
We didn't go to a game.
That's
We
more
didn't
than
go
I think most.
That's good.
podcasts do.
That's
What do you need?
that's more than we owe them. That's fair.
Hey, we cover all sorts of sports on this
That's
podcast.
fair.
All
Actually,
sorts of sports.
I
Oh,
take
Essos,
that
there you
back.
go. Yeah. no.
Cuisine Solutions worked. I looked up their products. They specialize in sous vide. It's not
There
kind
you
of cool.
We won the cup, baby.
All right, K-Dot, it doesn't sound like there's any Washington football team update, correct?
No.
De'Ami Brown.
De'Ami Brown's looking good. I mean, when he's been running routes on Instagram because mini camp's over. So training camp starts. Woo! Yeah, soon. And we'll start hearing some good stories about Fitzpatrick at Heineke dropping bombs.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to that. And debuting this week on the State of the Union is one Matthew Regan, who is going to talk to us about the Washington Capitals. What you got, Matt?
So I just want to give a quick recap of who the Caps protected for the expansion draft. So they went Backstrom, TJ Oshie, Kuznetsov, Tom Wilson, Anthony Mantha, Lars Eller, Daniel Sprong, Orlov, Carlson, Trevor Reemsdyk, and Ilya Samsonov. No Ovechkin on that list. Not a surprise at all. He's exposed because he's a free agent. So, he just won't sign with the Kraken if they do take him, and he'll re-sign with the Caps.
Oh, whoops, I was muted. All right, cool. Thank you for that update. And just a couple other things. The expansion draft can be seen tonight at 8 p.m. on ESPN2. That is the Seattle Kraken, the new NHL franchise that will be making their selections. There was a lot of talk about Kuznetsov or Oshie. Which one will it be? They managed to protect both, which is awesome because they are both fan favorites. And then the NHL draft begins on Friday. Washington does not have a first-round pick because of the Anthony Mantha trade with Matt's Detroit Red Wings. So their first pick will be pick 55 overall in the second round. You can see that Saturday at 11 a.m. on the NHL Network. That is the second round. But if you're Matt and you want to see the first round because Detroit has the 6th overall pick, you can see that 8 p.m. on Friday on ESPN2. Now let's go ahead and move on to teams that did play. The Washington Nationals, a couple losses to the San Diego Padres, one of which was interrupted by a shooting just outside of Nats Park. As K-Dot had mentioned a few episodes back, summer, always crazy in DC. This has been unprecedented, though. I think the violence in DC has been through the roof. So please continue to be safe, be careful. It seems random, but, just make smart choices, do the best you can. And then they did end up beating the Padres the next day and then smoked the Marlins 18-1. One of those losses to the Padres, though, has to be said. It was 24-8 San Diego. So we made up some of the run difference there. We remain in 4th place in the NL East, 6 games back of the division-leading New York Mets. Up next, the Marlins at home through today, then the Orioles in Baltimore through Sunday, and we start a series with the Philadelphia Phillies in Philly on Monday. All games can be seen on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. On to the Washington Spirit. Center back Sam Staub got a bullshit red card. Remember, I told you guys the NWSL has horrible refereeing. She was not even the last person back. Clips the person. It was definitely a foul, definitely a yellow card. Instead, sent off in the 7th minute. Now, that didn't stop Trinity Rodman and Ashley Sanchez from both scoring absolute beauties. Rodman from 18 yards out and Ashley Sanchez directly on a free kick, but it also didn't stop Gotham FC, our opponents, from scoring 3 goals. We lose 3-2. Unfortunately, the game was at Segra Field. We're now in 7th place in the NWSL, just 4 points back of first place. So that's how tight the standings are. The top 6 make the playoffs. Still a ways to go. Up next Sunday at 3 p.m. at Racing Louisville. The game can be seen on Paramount Plus. On to men's soccer. DC United, a 2-1 loss to the Philadelphia Union. Yamil Assad scored our lone goal from the penalty spot. We now sit in 9th place in the Eastern Conference, a full 11 points back, so not as tight, of the conference-leading New England Revolution. And we didn't just lose the game. Brendan Hines-Ike, who's been a great center back for us this past season, he's been on loan, is now out indefinitely with a fractured hip socket. Sounds very painful, but he's going to be missing the next few months due to injury. And up next this week, 2 games. Today at 8 p.m. against Chicago Fire FC in Chicago, and then on Sunday at home, 8 p.m. against the New York Red Bulls. Games can be seen on NBC Sports Washington and DCUnited.com. Finally, we've been talking about the Olympics. It is Olympic season, so we are going to highlight a couple local Olympians and then some of the pros that we have going as well, beginning with Kat Holmes. She is from Washington, D.C. She went to NCS, and she is going to be fencing in Tokyo. So congratulations to Kat. I think that's pretty awesome. And then Taylor Knibb is going to be a triathlon team member for Team USA, graduate of Sidwell Friends. So shout out Wisconsin Avenue for both NCS and Sidwell Friends. And I want to say Taylor Knibb is the youngest ever qualifier for the triathlon team for Team USA. So congratulations. There are many from Virginia and Maryland as well. So I'll maybe talk about them a little bit on the Twitter page that we have at District Divided. Now on to the professionals. Tina Charles, Ariel Atkins, Leilani Mitchell, Emma Mieseman, 4 different Mystics are going to be taking part in women's basketball. Charles and Atkins for Team USA, Leilani Mitchell for Australia, and Emma Mieseman representing Belgium. Then women's soccer, Kelly O'Hara and Emily Sonnet will be representing the U.S. women's national team in soccer for your Washington Spirit. And then Bradley Beal would have, but he entered COVID protocols and ended up getting replaced. But one of Matt's favorite players, Jeremy Grant, is a DeMatha High School graduate, Detroit Piston. He'll be representing Team USA. He's a local guy. KD, PG County, he'll be representing Team USA as well. And we got Rui Hachimura representing Japan. He's a flag bearer. I'm personally going to be rooting for Japan. I want Rui to have all the success. They're at home. I think it's going to be awesome. But Team USA is still going to win gold. KDOT, as you know. And finally, I believe there's one more person. I'm trying to think about who I'm missing here. No, I'm just good at what I do. That was absolutely everybody. Those are all your local Olympians, professionals and non-professionals. And this is District Divided. I am Amit. That is Spencer. That is KDOT. That is Elsie. That is Matt. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like the podcast, please like the video, subscribe, share it with people, and just have a blessed rest of your day. Have a blessed week. Enjoy the Olympics, and we will see you all next week, next Wednesday at 3 p.m., where we are going to be talking about the no-hate debate. What is the best in-home defense weapon that is not a gun? Can't wait to talk about that.
Crossbow.
Also, the NBA draft and a few other things. We figure it out as we go. You all have a good one. We'll talk to you later.